you know, in the slavery, we were not allowed to read this Bible. Now, picture that. If they catch you reading the Bible, they're going to beat you to the whiteboard. You understand? Why is that? What is the fear? What is the fear? Watch this. Reading was fear because they wanted us to get away from the Bible. Because I'm going to show you something. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 13 verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Now God created us. He gave us ears. So he just said, if you have understanding, understand this. Watch this.
He that leadeth into captivity,
if you want to take people into slavery,
shall go into captivity.
You're going to go into slavery. Read on.
He that killeth with the sword,
they killed us with swords. They shoot us today as well.
Must be killed with the sword.
You must be put to death. You understand? That's what the Bible says when you read it. Now read on.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
And you gotta be patient because the Lord said judgment is mine. Wait here upon me. I'm gonna rise up on the day on whoever oppressed us. You understand? But guess what, my brother? Give me 1 and 3. Revelation 1 and 3. Now you. Yeah, I'm gonna get that. 21. Yeah. Watch this, my brother. Watch this. Revelation 1 and 3.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 3.
A lot of time people go to church and they sit there and the preacher tell him his own mind. You seen that, right? And the Lord tell me, they say this me, blah, 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 blah. You're gonna do this, I've seen this. We see what happened with TD Jakes. Those are the kind of men that manipulate the minds of the people because the people don't do this simple thing. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 3. Blessed.
What?
Blessed.
What?
Blessed is he that readeth.
You're blessed when you read. Nobody can manipulate you. Finish that.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein.
And you keep those commandments. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. And keep those commandments. Because guess what? When you stand before God in judgment day, you cannot say to him, because I once thought that. You can't say to him, well, Lord, they were manipulating your word, blah, blah, blah. Because he already gave you an instruction to read. So the Bible is going to tell you what to do. He's told you to read, and now he's going to tell you something else. You meant to study. Okay? 2:15. 2 Timothy 2:15, I believe.
2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. Study
to shine what?
Study
what?
Study to show thyself approved. And
you read the newspaper, but the Bible you meant to study it. To show yourself what?
To show thyself approved unto God.
Not to man. You meant to show yourself approved to the Most High God. Read on.
A workman that needed not to be ashamed.
That's what it is. Because if you don't do that, you go to church. You don't go to church. Why? Give me Micah 3 verse 11. Why don't you go to church?
I don't choose to. The church is within you also.
The church is within you?
Yeah.
Guess what, my brother? The church is Greek for congregation, assembly, gathering. So that's why I asked that. The Lord is about gathering. You understand? When you put your finger out to fight a man, it's going to break. But if you put them together to fight, you understand? Togetherness. Okay, you got that? Micah 3:11. Watch this.
The book of Micah, chapter 3, verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward.
Those are your priests, the teachers today. They judge for reward. Read on.
And the priests thereof teach for hire.
They all teach for money. So that's why when you have people that go to church on Sunday, it's because they don't read. Because when we started reading, we stepped away from the church. Because when you go to church, what's meant to happen? What is the priest meant to have? Okay? Malachi. What is what? He preaches what? What is he meant to teach you? When you go to church, what is the priest meant to do?
Show you the right way to the Lord.
I'm going to be precise with you. The Bible going to be. This is what I'm doing to you right now. And I'm going to get to you. Watch this.
Malachi chapter 2 verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Like I'm here teaching you. I'm supposed to have knowledge. No knowledge on how to make money. No knowledge on how to commit adultery. No knowledge on how to steal. What knowledge?
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
And they should do what?
Seek the law at his mouth.
Read on.
For is the messenger of the Lord.
Because the priest is the messenger of God. Read on.
Of the Lord of hosts.
Read on, read on.
But ye are departed out of the way.
You see what the priests have done? They've turned away from God's commandments. Read on.
Ye have caused many to stumble at the law.
That's why you stumbled, because the Lord blames the priests. They're meant to teach you the laws of God. You understand? Let me ask you something. Do you love God? Do you love God? You do. How do you love God? Give me the love of God. By praying. Okay, praying is first. Now, hold that and give me John chapter 9 verse 31. Praying is good.
Get him opinion on the mind.
Yeah. All right, praying is good. Praying is good. So the brother said, you love God by praying to him. But this is one thing about praying. Watch this. John 9:31.
The book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
God does not hear sinners. You know what sin is? You know what sin is?
Everybody knows what sin is.
No. I would like you to tell me, please, because I used to think I know, but I didn't.
But maybe I don't.
Okay, tell me what you know about sin. What do you know about sin? I'm here to show you things that you missed. I'm not here to beat. Huh? Thank you. That's it. So God don't know. He ain't those that break his commandments. Watch on. Read on.
But if any man be worshipper of God,
If anyone worship God
and doeth his will,
and you do God's will,
him he heareth.
give me God's will. Do you know what God's will is? Psalm 40:8. Do you know what God's will is?
Get up.
Remember, I'm showing you the steps on going to understanding the Bible. You understand? You're meant to study, you're meant to read. Don't just listen to me like right now you're listening, we're reading. You're meant to go home and prove these things are true. So he's saying, if any man be a worshiper of God and do his will, he will hear you when you call.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.
A lot of times people like to do evil, but when they get cancer and they're about to die, the loved one being knocked over or shot, then they go to the Lord and now they start to pray. It's too late, he ain't listening. In fact, he's laughing at you. You can read that in the book of Proverbs chapter 1. God is laughing at you. You wait until something bad happens to you and then you pray, you're joking. But this is what it is. This is what God's will is. Read that.
That's right.
Chapter 40, verse 8. I delight to do thy will.
And we have to be happy to do God's will. What is it?
Oh my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
Thy what?
That's right.
Thy law is within my heart.
God's laws meant to be in our minds. A lot of our people, when we walk away from God's laws, do you know what we become? Proverbs 21:16. Do you know what happens when you don't have God's laws in you, my brother? This is what happens to you. I'm going to show you what happens to your spirit when you don't keep God's commandments. Like a lot of time, we was all like that. Proverbs 21:16.
Bring it out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 16.
This is what happens to everybody that don't keep God's commandments.
No.
This is how God looks at those people. Read.
Get out.
The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding
Understanding God's commandments,
shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
those are the walking dead. Everybody that don't keep God's commandment is a walking dead.
Right.
You understand? They'll tell you they love each other, but then they'll commit adultery on each other. They'll tell you they love each other, they're talking behind one another's back. They'll tell you love, 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 but the same guy is a murderer, oppressor, preaching love. You understand? So you remain in the congregation of the dead, my brother. So now, okay, let me show you one of the commandments. Okay, because give me the love of God. That's where we was going. You said you love God, and I showed you if you pray to him and you breaking his commandments, he ain't listening because you're in a congregation of the dead, and God is the God of the living. Do you understand? Watch this. That's why he says
It makes sense.
the God of the living.
It makes
So
sense.
if you're in the congregation of the dead, you ain't hearing. Watch this. Give me the love of God.
John chapter 14, verse 15. If ye love me,
If you love God, Jesus,
keep my commandments.
you see that, my brother? If you love him, what do you do? Now I'm going to show you a commandment. Let's see if you're going to obey that one or you're going to say, nah. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. Then we're going to read on. Okay? So now, my brother, you know what your nationality is? You're Benjamite. What God wants from you, my brother, is to keep the commandments. You understand? That's it. This kind of teaching has not been in the earth. We're very new, but we're growing very fast because the time is running out. Look at the days, they pass very quickly, man. Just last month, you can say it was winter. Now we're already going into spring, you understand? And then before you know it's summer and another winter. Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3. But I would have you know that if the head of every man is Christ.
Christ is our head as men, read on.
And the head of the woman is the man.
You have to run your house. You're the head of your woman. Don't abuse her, but you're the head. You command. Read on.
And the head of Christ is God.
And that's the hierarchy. You understand? Now watch this commandment. Read on.
Every man praying or prophesying.
You're receiving prophecy, or if you go to pray,
having his head covered.
And this is how you're going to identify also the false prophets, not you, the teachers that teach this Bible. If they cover in their head, dishonoreth his head, you dishonor Christ. You understand?
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.